Listen close. There's a moment, a shift, a whisper you can't ignore. It starts in the gut, deep in your chest, where your heart beats like it's got a secret to tell you. You feel it first, the power stirring, raw, unshakable, telling you that something bigger is coming. It ain't loud, it ain't flashy, but it's real. Life's been trying to test you, break you down, make you question your worth. But here you are, standing taller, moving freer, feeling the fire in your soul that says, I'm ready. You notice it in the quiet, the little signs, the moments of clarity, that gut punch of knowing that destiny's got its eye on you, and you feel it in the letting go, the shedding of chains, doubts, and shadows that no longer belong to you. Ain't nobody's validation needed. You see your value now, fierce and untouchable. The road ahead won't be easy. Struggle's still knocking, but every fight is sharpening you, molding you into the blessing you're about to receive. And in that quiet, that pause before the world catches up, that's where you feel it first. Promise, the weight of something miraculous moving in your life, unseen, but unstoppable. Before a woman is about to receive a blessing, the first thing she feels is the stirring of something deep within her, a force that has always been there, but is now waking up, roaring louder than the doubts and fears that tried to silence it. It's not something that can be taught or borrowed. It's innate, born with her, a pulse that's been quietly beating, waiting for the right moment to demand recognition. This power doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It doesn't need anyone to see it or validate it. It comes like a whisper at first, a subtle shift in the way she carries herself, the way her gaze sharpens, the way her presence suddenly feels bigger, heavier, more undeniable. It's the kind of strength that reminds her she's survived storms before, walked through fire and emerged scarred but unbroken, and that those same battles were not meant to weaken her, but to awaken her. This stirring begins in small ways, an unshakable confidence when she makes a choice she knows is right, even if the world shakes its head. A sudden clarity in moments of indecision, a feeling in her chest that tells her she can handle whatever comes next. It's the recognition that she has been carrying a reservoir of power, a reservoir that the world has underestimated. She feels it in her voice when she speaks truth, the way her words start to carry weight, the way people begin to lean in because they sense she is no longer a woman to be dismissed or ignored. This is the moment when she stops seeking permission, stops asking for approval, and starts moving with the authority that has been quietly forming inside her all along. There is also a physicality to it, an energy that moves through her veins like electricity, a heightened awareness of her own body and mind, a connection to herself that feels almost sacred. It is instinctual, primal even, as if her spirit has been preparing for this moment for years, decades, lifetimes. This stirring ignites her ambitions and fuels her courage. It reminds her that the life she's meant to live requires stepping fully into her own power, claiming space that she may have once thought was too vast, too intimidating, too unreachable. The awakening doesn't just give her strength. It reminds her that she is a force of nature, that her worth and her impact are not measured by the world, but by the authenticity of her own spirit. And in that quiet, in that subtle awakening, she begins to realize that the blessings she has been waiting for are not just external, success, recognition, love, but internal as well. They begin with the understanding that she has always carried the seed of greatness within her, that she has always had the power to change her life, to influence the world around her, to rise above limitations that were never truly hers to bear. The stirring of inner power is the first signal, the prelude, the quiet thunder that announces that a woman is on the brink of transformation. When God is about to bless a woman, she begins to feel the subtle pull of destiny, a quiet whisper that nudges her in directions she never expected, guiding her toward moments and choices that will shape her future. It isn't loud or demanding. It doesn't scream or force her hand. Instead, it comes in fleeting glances, sudden ideas, and gut instincts that seem too precise to be coincidence. She notices the timing of events aligning in ways that feel almost supernatural, the small doors opening when she least expects them, and the people who appear in her life exactly when she needs them. This whisper is a signal, a nudge from something higher than herself, telling her that the path she is on is intentional, that that she is not wandering aimlessly, but moving with purpose. This feeling often arrives in quiet, almost invisible moments while she is walking alone, sitting in silence, or reflecting on the choices of her past. She may feel a sudden clarity in her thoughts, a sense that the next step is clear even when it is uncertain to everyone else. It's like a spark in the dark, a flicker that says, "You are being led. Trust the journey." She begins to notice patterns in her life that she had overlooked before, coincidences that are too consistent to be random, opportunities that seem designed to test her readiness, and challenges that, although difficult, are preparing her for something greater. The whisper of destiny is patient. It doesn't rush her or push her into haste. It encourages her to listen, to be present, and to trust that even the struggles she faces are part of a bigger plan she may not yet see. As this whisper grows louder, she starts to act differently, more intentional, more aware, more aligned with her true self. Decisions that once seemed overwhelming or frightening begin to feel manageable because she senses that she is being guided. Her intuition becomes sharper, her perception keener, and she begins to recognize that every choice, every encounter, and every setback is part of a divine choreography designed for her growth. She feels a sense of empowerment in knowing that she is not alone, that her life is part of a larger narrative in which her strength, patience, and resilience are being rewarded. The whisper of destiny also teaches her discernment. She learns to differentiate between the noise of fear and doubt and the quiet voice that is guiding her. She begins to move away from distractions, from people and situations that would derail her, and toward what feels aligned with her purpose. Even when others cannot see the path, she begins to trust it because she feels it deeply in her bones, in the rhythm of her heartbeat, in the quiet confidence that grows with each day. It is in this phase that she realizes blessings are not just given, they are felt, recognized, and actively received by a woman attuned to the subtle signals that life sends her. The whisper of destiny is the gentle, yet undeniable force that signals a woman is on the edge of a breakthrough. Before a woman is about to receive a blessing, she feels the undeniable need to let go of the weight she has been carrying for too long. The shedding of the old is never easy because it asks her to confront the parts of herself and her life that no longer serve her, the memories that sting, the relationships that drain, and the fears that have kept her small. It is a process that begins quietly, sometimes painfully, as she starts noticing the patterns that have been holding her back, the habits she has outgrown, and the environments that have stifled her growth. She may feel an inner restlessness, a knowing sense that the life she has known is no longer the life she is meant to live. And that change is not just necessary, it is inevitable. This shedding is both a release and a reclamation. She begins to forgive herself for the mistakes she made, not to forget them, but to free herself from their grip. She starts to see the lessons hidden in pain, understanding that the experiences that once felt like burdens were shaping her resilience, her discernment, and her ability to rise above the storms. At the same time, she becomes aware of the relationships that no longer align with her journey. The people who doubted her, the ones who doubted her worth, the voices that tried to define her limits. Letting go of these connections is not about anger or resentment, but about creating space for what is coming, for the blessings that cannot arrive while she clings to the old. The shedding of the old also demands courage. It asks her to confront her insecurities, the fears that have whispered in her ear for years, telling her she is not enough, not ready, not deserving. She feels the trembling of vulnerability, the hesitation that comes when you are standing on the edge of transformation. But she learns to trust herself, to honor the quiet voice inside that insists she is ready for more. Every old belief she releases, every worn out expectation she lets fall away, becomes a brick in the foundation of the woman she is becoming. This process is transformative because it reminds her that her life is hers to shape, that she has the power to choose what she carries forward and what she leaves behind. In shedding the old, she also discovers a sense of lightness. There is a freedom that comes when burdens are laid down, a clarity that emerges when clutter, emotional, mental, and spiritual, is cleared away. She begins to walk different and hold her head higher and move through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who knows she has been tempered by life, who knows her past does not define her, but prepares her. She becomes more attuned to what truly matters, more aligned with her purpose, and more ready to receive the blessings that are patiently waiting for her. This stage is essential because a woman cannot fully embrace what is coming if she is still entangled in what has already passed. And it is in this intentional, sometimes painful, act of release that she sets the stage for the transformation that is about to unfold. When God is about to bless a woman, one of the first things she begins to feel is an unshakable sense of her own worth. It doesn't come from the applause of others, the validation of society, or the approval of those who never believed in her. It rises from within, a fire ignited by every trial she has survived, every setback she has turned into strength, and every moment she has refused to settle for less than she deserves. This sense of self-worth is fierce, unyielding, and unapologetic. It is the quiet roar that refuses to be silenced by criticism, rejection, or doubt, because she knows her value is not negotiable. She begins to see herself not through the eyes of those who underestimated her, but through the truth of her spirit, her purpose, and her unbreakable resilience. It starts as a subtle awareness, a whisper in her mind that says, "You are enough, just as you are, and more than you ever realized." But as it grows, it becomes a force that shapes her decisions, her boundaries, and the energy she allows into her life. She no longer tolerates disrespect or diminishment because she knows that her worth cannot be diluted. Every choice she makes begins to reflect this awakening, the way she speaks, the way she carries herself, and the way she navigates her world. She begins to demand respect, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity, because she recognizes that standing in her truth is the only way to honor the life she is meant to live. This sense of worth is both protective and liberating. It shields her from negativity that would try to slow her down, while simultaneously giving her permission to reach higher, dream bigger, and embrace opportunities that once felt out of reach. She realizes that her past struggles, the pain she endured, and the mistakes she made were all part of cultivating this fierce love for herself. It is in the moments of solitude, reflection, and self-honesty that she discovers her true power. She begins to understand that the blessing she's about to receive is not external alone. It is rooted in the recognition that she deserves abundance, joy, love, and success. As this sense of self-worth solidifies, she starts to radiate confidence in ways that others notice without even realizing why. Her energy changes, her presence commands attention, and her life begins to shift in response to the way she values herself. She no longer chases validation or clings to approval because she has become her own standard. Every boundary she sets, every decision she makes, and every relationship she engages in reflects her understanding that her worth is sacred and non-negotiable. This awakening is transformative because it teaches her that blessings are not just about what is given, but about what she is ready to claim. She begins to see that the world responds to those who know their value. That door is open when a person carries themselves with clarity and conviction, and that divine favor often meets those who understand they are worthy of it. It is this fierce, unwavering sense of self-worth that positions her to receive the life she has always been destined for. Before a woman is about to be blessed, she feels the fire of patience and struggle burning deep within her. It is a recognition that nothing of lasting value arrives without effort, endurance, and the willingness to weather storms that test every fiber of her being. This fire is both a reminder and a teacher. It reminds her that she has faced challenges before and emerged stronger, and it teaches her that the path to her blessing will demand persistence, resilience, and unwavering faith. She begins to see that struggle is not an enemy, but a sculptor, shaping her character, sharpening her instincts, and preparing her to receive what she has been waiting for with gratitude, humility, and grace. The fire of patience is subtle at first, manifesting in quiet moments when she resists the urge to rush, to force outcomes, or to settle for less than she knows she deserves. She learns to trust the timing of her life, understanding that each delay, each waiting period carries purpose. It is in these moments of waiting that she discovers strength she didn't know she had, the ability to endure discomfort, to remain steady in uncertainty, and to hold on to faith even when the world around her seems chaotic. Patience becomes a shield, a source of power, and a discipline that transforms the way she navigates her journey, reminding her that blessings cannot be hurried, but must be earned and embraced when the moment is right. Struggle, on the other hand, is the forge in which her resilience is tempered. She feels it in the challenges she faces, the obstacles that seem impossible, and the opposition that tests her resolve. Yet within these trials, she finds lessons, growth, and an awakening of strength that only struggle can provide. Every hardship she endures teaches her more about herself, her limits, her courage, and her capacity to rise above circumstances that once seemed insurmountable. She begins to understand that the difficulties she has encountered are not signs of failure, but proof of preparation. That each challenge is a necessary part of the journey toward the blessings she is about to receive. This fire of patience and struggle also fuels her determination. She becomes relentless in her pursuit of what she knows she is worthy of, refusing to allow setbacks to define her or dictate the boundaries of her potential. She develops an inner rhythm, a cadence of endurance that keeps her moving forward, even when progress seems invisible or delayed. There is a quiet strength in knowing that the world cannot grant her what she has been preparing for herself, and that her persistence will eventually align with the opportunities and blessings meant for her. Through this process, she begins to feel empowered in ways that go beyond physical or material success. She realizes that patience and struggle are not burdens but tools, instruments that shape her into a woman capable of receiving, appreciating, and sustaining the abundance and favor that are approaching. She learns to respect her journey, to honor the lessons hidden in difficulty, and to embrace the fire within as a guide and ally. When God is about to bless a woman, there comes a moment that feels almost invisible, yet it is profound, the quiet before the miracle. It is a silence that hums with possibility, a pause in the noise of life where the universe seems to hold its breath, waiting for her to step fully into what is coming. She feels it in her soul, an unexplainable calm that contrasts sharply with the storm she has endured, a stillness that tells her everything is aligning even if the world has not yet caught up. This quiet is not emptiness, it is pregnant with potential, thick with promise, and brimming with the energy of unseen forces working in her favor. It is the moment when preparation meets patience, when her struggles, her endurance, and her growth converge into a readiness for the blessing that has been long awaited. In this quiet, she becomes deeply aware of herself. She notices the strength she has cultivated, the wisdom she has gained, and the clarity that comes from knowing her path is guided. There is no need for external validation here. The stillness allows her to recognize that the miracles she is about to receive are not random, and they are not unearned. They are the natural result of her faith, resilience, and unwavering commitment to becoming the person who can carry them. She begins to see the subtle signs, the doors that seem to open without effort, the timing that aligns in ways too precise to be coincidence, the opportunities that appear exactly when she is ready to take them. This quiet becomes a sacred space where she can attune herself to the rhythm of her destiny, listening to the whispers of guidance that often go unnoticed in the chaos of life. The quiet before the miracle also teaches her trust. She learns that even when life seems stagnant, even when answers are delayed and hope feels thin, there is movement behind the scenes, forces aligning to create a shift that only she could step into at the right time. This is when patience deepens, when her faith is tested not by absence but by the stillness that demands she believe without seeing, that she continue forward knowing the blessing is already in motion. It is a preparation not just for the gift itself, but for the way she will receive it, with gratitude, grace, and recognition that she has been molded for this exact moment. During this period, she feels a sense of anticipation unlike anything she has known before. It is subtle, almost electric, a vibration that travels through her spirit and body, reminding her that what is coming is not ordinary, but life-changing. She may not understand the full scope yet, but she senses the shift, feels the pull, and recognizes that the miracle is near. And in this quiet, she also finds power, a power that comes from stillness, from reflection, from the awareness that her journey, with all its trials and triumphs, has been leading her to this point. She realizes that sometimes the greatest signs are not loud or dramatic, but soft, steady, and profound, and that the blessing she has been waiting for begins with the patient, sacred, and deliberate recognition of the quiet before it unfolds.